Hello and welcome everybody to The Pulse here with PeakBot. I am Dillon. I'm joined by my co-host Ben, the two co-founders of PeakBot. We are here and excited to get into everything option selling for the week of November 20th. Shorter week this week. Of course, we got Thanksgiving here in the States on Thursday and market being closed for half a day on Friday. Closing at 1 p.m. But yeah, we're here and excited. We're going to be taking a look at some charts. We'll be going and reviewing some earnings reports. I think we're coming toward the end of our earnings season here, only a handful. And we'll get into things. Of course, we encourage questions along the way. If you have live questions, please ask them in the chat. We are here and ready to answer for you. You can also text or call. Don't call us right now, but you can text or call.
If you call that number, it's going to go right to Dillon's cell phone.
I'll answer live. Actually, you know what? Call. So number on the screen below. And also, of course, we encourage you to schedule a personal PeakBot demo, 15 or 20 minutes. We hop on a video call just like this, and we answer your questions, show you around the platform, and make sure you're comfortable. So just for any new viewers, really quick, PeakBot, we have automated the option selling process for the retail trader. The way we've gone about that is making it easy, affordable, and transparent for the everyday person to put a stock trader in their pocket. We're not financial advisors. This is not financial advice, but we are integrated with brokers like Tradier and others to make it super simple for you to select the strategy you want to use, pick the stocks you want to trade, and set your budget, and that's it. Set it and forget it. So we'll get into it now, Ben. I'll kick it over to you here, and I believe in a couple minutes you're going to share your screen, or maybe even sooner. And
yeah, I'm gonna actually start this week by sharing the watch list screen because I kind of want to work backwards from here. So Dillon mentioned we're automating the option selling process. Our bread and butter here is automating the wheel strategy, at least for now, right? If you have a different option selling strategy that you want automated, let us know. We listen. We've actually made a ton of adjustments to our wheel strategy based on feedback that we've received. So what I've got up here is our watch list for the wheel strategy. An update from last week, I think from last week at least, is we have the wheel watch list and we have the wheel unhedged watch list. And you can see that at the top. There's going to be two different watch lists. We're going to focus on the wheel. And I'll talk about the modifications we made to the wheel to get it to where it is today. So again, guys, we are live. Feel free to ask questions. We'll be answering questions in the chat. We'll be answering questions live. Let's make this as interactive as we can. So like I mentioned, this is our watch list. We compile this pretty much on a daily basis. Most of it is automated at this point. And, the main point here is to show which stocks have the highest earning potential. And what we do is we enter our weekly contracts. We're trading weekly contracts, selling weekly contracts. We enter these positions at the beginning of each week. So on Mondays, or if the market's closed on Mondays, or if you just happen to miss out, we'll also open on Tuesdays. Less premium if you do it on Tuesdays because there's less trading days, less time to be in the market, less premium to gather. So that'll actually play into the returns that we're going to look at this week. But instead of diving right in, let's talk about how you can compile your own watch list and how, we get this type of information into this sheet. So I'm going to flip over to bar chart where we are a premier member here, but you can do this on a basic membership. All you want to do is go to the options tab. You want to click on most active options, and then you're going to get this list. You can export this list, so you can click download here, and then you can sort and filter as you'd like. Now, what we like to do at PeakBot is we like to filter out any tickers with an options volume right now less than 20K. If there's a ticker that's not getting at least 20K in volume, that's a little low for us. We want to try to keep our watch list between 100 and 150 different tradable stocks, so we can access those options chains. And we also like to put a filter on any stocks that are trading above 150-ish. We say 100. There's some exceptions. So we want to keep the stock value lower just because if you do get assigned, and the basics of the wheel strategy are you sell cash secured puts. If that contract expires in the money at expiration, then you're going to be assigned those shares. So you need to have enough cash in your account to actually buy those shares. So we keep that dollar value, because if you're trading, for example, NVIDIA here, we could trade a 490 strike on NVIDIA. I'll make this a little bit bigger. I realize that's kind of small. We could trade a 490 strike on NVIDIA, and if we get assigned, well, we're going to need $49,000 to cover that, and that's just not something that everybody's willing to do for whatever premium payout that would be. So again, we like to look for stocks under $100, some over 150, like you'll find Amazon on our watch list, but they're paying out a decent premium. So again, you could download this this table here, filter for options volume. You could filter for stock price. You could filter for IV if you want. You could do a variety of different things, but that's how we compile the stocks that you see on this watch list. Now, we are showing the sold put strike at the 30 delta, and we're actually going to buy a put strike at the 10 delta. That's how we come up with these different dollar values for our strategy, and that's how we'll show what the estimated net premium is. Now, of course, when the market opens, this can all change. Stock price is going to fluctuate. The premiums are going to fluctuate, all leading up to time of execution, which our strategy, our bot, will open your positions between around 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern on Mondays and Tuesdays. So again, all this information is an estimate. It's not financial advice either. It's just to give you an idea of what stocks are and what strikes are paying out higher premiums. So if we take a look at the estimated return, what this means is we're taking the estimated net premium, divided that into your estimated cash needed if you were assigned, and we're showing you what your weekly return would be based on these two factors. So you can see that these numbers are a little bit lower compared to what we have been seeing, but that's due to the fact that A, the market's closed on Thursday for Thanksgiving, and then B, the market closes early on Black Friday, closes at 1 p.m. Eastern on Friday. So less time equals less risk equals less reward. That's how it goes here.
And we're coming out of an earnings season. Whenever we're in an earnings season, those numbers tend to get a little bit crazy. As you can see, there's only a handful of stocks. Just a quick note here, any stock that's highlighted or dark lighted, I guess, in the dark gray, Zoom, Baidu, Futu, and maybe there's a couple other lower, those are reporting earnings this week or in the next, I think, 9 to 10 days. So keep an eye out, not financial advice. Proceed with caution with those. Exactly.
And we're going to dive into a couple of those tickers that are reporting earnings this week, reporting earnings next week, and we're going to get into a little bit of an analysis there. So I mentioned that we mixed up the wheel a little bit. Maybe mixed up isn't the right word. We improved on the wheel a little bit. So again, traditionally the wheel is you sell cash secured puts, and then if you get assigned, you sell covered calls. Now we're adding a little layer of protection and insurance policy, if you will, by selling a spread instead of just selling a naked put. So we're limiting, and you can see what your estimated maximum loss is on any of these positions. We're limiting the downside. So on an earnings day, let's say, for example, Zoom is reporting earnings today, 11/20. If you're selling a put credit spread today, your maximum loss is going to be $500, and that's going to take effect if the stock price for Zoom falls below your bought put, your hedge, of $55. And we've seen this in the past, like Upstart, for example. Their most recent earnings, their stock price dropped 25%, or probably a little more than 25%. Earnings before that dropped 60%. So you can see how this hedge can really protect your account from crazy earnings reports, and really just any sort of event, whether it's technical or news or whatever it is that affects the stock price. It protects you from the downside. So with that said, Dillon, I don't know if there's anything you want to call out here. If not, I'm going to hop over to my Tradier account and start to look at about 5 of these.
Really quick, one thing I want to mention for those who may not be familiar when we're hedging it, as Ben mentioned, with our 2 strike prices, okay, we're selling the 30 delta, which we receive a premium, and we're buying the 10 delta, which we pay a premium, a lower one, which then equates to our net premium. That max loss, if we're looking at the AMC as the top one, for example, with $100 max loss there, that max loss is coming from the distance between your 2 strike prices. So there's $1 between 6 and 7, which are your 2 strikes, which means $1 times 100 shares, since we're trading in a contract, that's what creates your max loss. If you finish above both strike prices, you don't get assigned shares, you keep your full premium, best case scenario. You finish in between, you get assigned your shares. You'll likely have an unrealized loss, at least temporarily, but you're going to then go and sell a call credit spread the following week, which is the data to the right that's not necessarily on screen right now. And if you finish below both strike prices, as Ben mentioned, let's say Zoom or AMC drops all the way from $7.43 down below $6. You won't be assigned shares because your insurance policy, your hedge comes into play, and that's where you'll lose your max loss, $100. But you will start again the next week on the put side still, since you won't have any shares. Just the layman's version of that. For
Great point. And to get all of the details on how we're automating this strategy, you can head over to usepeakbot.com, and then there's a strategies tab at the top. I'll zoom in a little bit. I'll click on that, and then you can see here, like, we are giving away all of the details behind the trade. So entry and exit details. You could trade this manually. You don't need to use PeakBot to automate it. Dillon will get into that in a little bit, how you can. But you can do all this manually. So again, use peakbot.com/strategies, and you get all the entry and exit details. We'll tell you what happens on stock assignments. We'll tell you your cash and broker requirements. And then we'll even provide some example trades with some images here. So you can see exactly what's going on, what to expect before you actually automate. So to get back to the watch list real quick, I've picked out a few that I wanted to go over today. I want to start with Carvana, just because Carvana's been so good to anybody that's been trading the wheel for the past year at this point. I'll go ahead and pull them up. So you guys can see this exact screen if you go on to your Tradier account and you click on the research tab, and then just search for a specific stock. So I popped in Carvana here. Again, we want to look at the 1 month charts. We can see, like, we were in a downtrend. Carvana was in a strong downtrend here. I'm guessing this was right around the time they reported earnings. Just to guess, not 100% sure. I don't remember what it was. But now we can see that it's been, like, super choppy, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. One thing that, we want to do is consider what the chart looks like, what direction we look like we're trending. It looks like we're trading in a channel here. And then there's also a feature within Tradier that, we can take a look at the technical analysis for a certain time period. And we don't have to do that analysis ourselves. This tool does it for us. So if we look at the 15-minute technical analysis, it looks like Carvana is leaning towards a sell. However, we want to look at the weekly analysis, and we see that it's still a sell. We've got 12 sell signals. We got 10 neutral, 4 buy. So we're kind of, I'd put this more towards neutral. The wheel strategy is a bullish to neutral strategy. So, just based on the premium payouts that Carvana has been paying out consistently, like, I don't mind getting assigned shares of Carvana because I know I'm going to flip that and just start selling cover calls, and I'm still going to be earning high premiums. So Carvana is always on my list. I just wanted to bring that up.
Before you move on, Ben, you move on, we have a question coming from one of our subscribers who's having trouble getting in the chat. So a question from Jerry, and I'll type this in. But last week when Carvana was going ballistic, I thought about selling my hedge prior to expiration. I didn't. But if I did, how would that affect the bots at expiration?
Great question. So if you're trading with the hedge, for PeakBot at least, what we do is we sell that hedge automatically at around 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the day of expiration. So usually a Friday. So we're actually selling out of that for you. If you choose to sell out early, we just won't sell it. We're checking to see if you still own that contract on the day of expiration before we actually place that sell order for you. So if it's not there, we're just not going to sell it because there's nothing to sell. So you can absolutely, and it's a great point, you could absolutely manually intervene whenever you'd like. You know, PeakBot is meant to be an aid to your overall trading strategy. It's not meant to be your overall trading strategy, right? So if you feel like you want to step in and, you know, change your position or make a trade on your own, feel free. I do that. I take gains where I can take gains. Dillon gets mad at me for it because when it comes to reporting our completely automated results, that kind of messes it up. But hey, I'm looking after my own account at the end of the day. PeakBot's a supplement to my own trading.
Yeah, PeakBot's gonna. Long story short, great question. PeakBot's gonna pick up where you left off, right? We're here. Our bots recognize that you manually intervened, and we're just simply pulling that data from your broker. If the share still exists, we'll take the appropriate actions. If they don't, then we will also follow suit. Great question. Thank you so much, Jerry.
So next stock we want to look at is UiPath. Pretty cool RPA tool, automation tool. But we're going to take a look at Path for a second. I want to flip back to the watch list just because I want to point something out. Now, Path is only paying out about a 0.3% return. Now, why are we looking at this stock? It's because they report earnings next week. So we're going to come back to UiPath next week, and we're going to see what the return is on the estimated premium next week to illustrate how during earnings, we could see some unusually high premium payouts. And that's not necessarily a stock that we would want to trade, because when they're not reporting earnings, we can kind of see, like we see right now, the low payout that you would get by trading this particular position. Yeah, exactly. Earnings, earnings really kind of distorts what true earning potential is, because obviously you're only reporting earnings 4 times a year if you're a reporting company. So we'll just take a look at UiPath real quick. It does look like it's trading between like $15 and $18. So really not too bad. If, it looks, the price looks pretty stable, even increasing a little bit. Actually, I was looking at a longer chart here. Let me click on the month. All right, it looks like we're in more of like an upward trend here. If I were able to draw trend lines, I would draw a channel right there. But let's take a look at the weekly analysis for UiPath. Looks like we're on the buy side here. 12 buy signals, 9 neutral, and only 3 sell signals. So if you're okay going into earnings with a lower premium payout and you want to try to roll the dice on a high premium payout during earnings week, technical analysis says go for it. Not financial advice, of course. Do your own due diligence before you make your trades. So on the flip side now, I want to take a look at Zoom. And if we look back over to the watch list, Zoom is second on the watch list. And they're reporting earnings, like we said, today. And we can see they're paying out roughly a 1.5% return premium into your estimated cash needed. Now, we'll also look at Zoom next week to see what they're paying out next week. So we're looking at this from both sides. We're looking at a stock before it's reporting, and then we'll look at a stock after it's reporting. So just note that down. UiPath, 0.3%, Zoom, 1.5%. Come back next week. We'll look at these again, and we'll see how earnings has affected those estimated premium payouts. So here I am at Zoom. I'm going to hit the 1-month chart again. I'd say, Dillon, and tell me if you disagree, but the past 2 weeks have been fairly decent in the market, and that's kind of reflecting in these charts that we're I just realized I'm not sharing my tab. That's kind of reflecting in these charts that we're seeing, right?
It's been a nice little turnaround here. We'll see if we can keep it up.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a look at the 1-week analysis for Zoom, more towards the sell side. Just because this is reporting earnings this week, it looks like, technical analysis is saying sell. I'm personally staying out of this one. I wouldn't really trade earnings anyway. I try to avoid that as much as possible, but that's just the overall analysis. And then finally, the last 2, we've got AMC. AMC is typically towards the top of our watch list. We'll take a look at the 1-month chart here. It looks like we're downtrending in a pretty strong downtrend. This was after the reverse split. And And then technical analysis on the 1 week looks like a sell, even though it's paying out high premium. Caution, right? We've got 15 sell signals, 9 neutral, 2 buy. It definitely feels more on the sell side to me. And then we've got Sunrun, which, Dylan, I know you and I have been trading Sunrun for a while now. Take a look at the 1 month chart. Sunrun is consistently paying out higher premiums. If you look at the watch list, they're not reporting this week and they're still paying a high premium. So looks pretty choppy, right? Trading between 9 and 12 really over the past, 3 weeks or so. So it's going up, it's going down. Again, not necessarily a bad thing because we can make money really on both ends. We'll make more money on the way up, but we will still collect premiums on the way down. If we look at the 1 week analysis for run, we're showing sell. We got 12 sell, 10 neutral, 4 buy. That's leaning more towards neutral for me. Again, the wheel is a neutral to bullish strategy. I'm personally going to be running this week, so if you feel so inclined, take a look at Sunrun, take a look at the company, make sure you like it. Again, you should only be trading and selling options on stocks that you wouldn't mind owning yourself. You don't want to put yourself in hot water owning 100 shares of something you don't even really know about. So Dylan, I know you're going to say something. I just want to say this kind of wraps up the technical analysis part. And then Dylan, I think you'll transition to actually adding some of these to your account.
Yes. So before, actually, if you could bring that screen back up, we had another question just coming in, not in the comments. How do you get to the screen you were just looking at for this buy or sell analysis within Tradier? Just how to get there?
Sure. So when you're in your Tradier account, you can start at your dashboard here. Then all you have to do is click on the research tab up top. And this isn't available on the mobile app, just on desktop. But you could click on research and then you just type in whatever stock you want to type in. I'll type in Carvana. And then your chart appears here. And then it's just right below the chart. And again, we want to look at the month just because we want to see what, in the shorter term, what the price action looks like. And then for technical analysis, I like looking at the week. You can look at something else, but you can see, like, if we look at different time periods, there's a different analysis for each time period. Although Carvana is looking pretty much the same across the board. But yes, this will change. But there's a lot of cool stuff you could find here. You got Carvana's profile. You got some news. Maybe not the best spot for news because it looks like some of this is pretty old. But then you've got like financial information. So a lot of good information on this page here. But yeah, just go to the research tab in your on the online version of Tradier.
Excellent. Thank you for the analysis, Ben. Lord knows I couldn't do that. Don't know what I'd do without you. So fantastic. Again, we highly encourage more questions. If there are any, let us know. In just a second here, I'm going to share my screen, and we can pull that up now. And what we'll do is we'll take a close look at my portfolio. I'll get into what trades I made last week and what trades I have set up for this week. So taking a look at things here. So again, for anybody who's not familiar, and this is the first time they're seeing this screen, this is the PeakBot web app. Okay, so we are mobile friendly. Okay, there's not going to be an app that you're going to find in the App Store on your iPhone or your Android. But if you just go to app.usepeakbot.com, you will find this page here. If you don't have an account, you'll create one. You'll start your 2-week free trial, and all you got to do is connect to your broker, and you'll be up and running. So Tradier, obviously being our preferred broker, makes it super simple to get in and get started. So as Ben mentioned, I'll just go over here really quick. These are the 2 strategies that we've automated and that are live on PeakBot right now. The wheel, which we've covered a lot of. We leave Iron Condor out quite a bit recently, but for good reason. If you ask me, it's a neutral strategy, right? We're selling both a put credit spread and a call credit spread with the same expiration on the same stock, which means it's a very neutral strategy. I wouldn't necessarily, Ben, you tell me if otherwise, you're a bit more technical than I am. I wouldn't necessarily say we're in a neutral market right now. Just keep that in mind. It's there, it's available for you. The only two stocks that you can trade on the Iron Condor right now are the SPY and the QQQ. In fact, Ben, I'll mention this live, maybe to hold us accountable a little bit, or give us our watchers an answer. I was with one of our partners yesterday, Ben, and they asked about SPX and maybe a couple of the other ones that they had mentioned previously. Do we have plans on adding that to the Iron Condor, or is there a reason against that?
Yeah, no, we will. We need to show the Iron Condor some love. That strategy's been the same for about a year now. And like you mentioned, like market conditions are a little bit different than they were a year ago. So we definitely need to give some love to the Iron Condor, which is on the agenda. I'm hoping that we'll have some updates to push out before the new year. We'll see how far we get. We do have another bot coming out. I don't know. I don't think we want to tease that too much yet, but we are working on a new bot that's coming out that will adjust based on trend direction, and it will be, there you go, the trend spread. It will be a bullish, neutral, and bearish strategy. All that info will be coming soon.
You know, Ben, looking at this logo, I think its nickname will be the X Factor, just because that's what it will be. We highly anticipate that being the fan favorite, just because it's taking another decision off your plate as to what direction the market's going. Anyway, Iron Condor, last thing, and then we'll get into my portfolio. Right now, the Iron Condor sets up for 1 DTE. It opens on Tuesdays, expires Wednesdays, opens Thursdays, expires Fridays. So you'll run 2 Iron Condors throughout the week. There is the possibility of a day trade, but you won't, if you're just trading this, you won't ever break the pattern day trading rule, just because it's only running 2 contracts in a week. Ben, you'll correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Two different stocks in a week.
Yep. So my portfolio. Now I've already made my changes, but I can walk through what happened. So last week I was running Carvana, Palantir, Roblox, Run, and Wayfair. So I've only made a couple changes here. I did get assigned on Sunrun last week. So I was running my put credit spread. I got assigned because I finished between my 2 strike prices. So I had a net gain in my account here this morning. So I held 100 shares of Run. And for me, this is where you get man and machine, right? Again, everybody, can make whatever decisions they'd like, and PeakBot will pick up where they left off. I'd rather be on the put side, especially locking in the gains that I had. So I went into my broker account. I sold those shares at a market, as a market order this morning. So when the market opens, I'm going to sell those 100 shares of Run at a profit. And then the bot is then going to pick up on that. And instead of selling a call credit spread, I'm going to go back to selling a put credit spread because I won't own the shares. So that's just an example of how you can manually intervene and still use PeakBot to your advantage. So if we're looking at Carvana, we did review on that this week. I'll just pull up our watch list here really quick and take a look at GM. Of course, my watch list isn't wanting to load. Here we go. So for everybody who isn't familiar, I have a rule that I hold myself to 90% of the time, and that's sticking between 0.5% and 1.5% paid in premium on the week. Anything above 1.5% premium paid for me starts getting a little dicey, right? If it's paying a higher premium, right, higher reward, it's because there's a higher risk. That stock is more volatile, right? The higher the premium, the higher the volatility. So as we can see, that's not GM.
Can you zoom in a little, Dillon?
Yeah, I can. So let me just get to the correct GM because we got a couple on here. So this one's a bit lower, but I really like the stock. So here's General Motors. The current price is 28.03. Our strike price is 27 that we're selling, 26 that we're buying. You know, to be honest with you, Ben, I think I'm looking at this on the wrong days. I don't like how low this is. You know, I might actually change that out, and I'll do it here live. $2,700. So I'm going to try and find an equivalent that's in my range. So I see this one popping off the screen right here, Unity Software. You know what? I've traded it before and I like it. So it's paying me $16, 0.57%. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to remove GM from my portfolio. It's this simple. You click the little, I'll show you again. You're going to click the little gear icon here on the right-hand side of that stock. And I'm going to remove it, save. I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to add a new stock by clicking this plus sign. We're going to go to the wheel. I'm going to type out Unity. Here it is. I'm going to type in my budget, the number of spreads I want to sell. I'm just going to do one. As you can see, it gives me a rough estimate of how many dollars I'll need to enter that contract. You'll notice that that dollar amount is slightly higher than the cash needed on the watch list because we're building in a buffer for you. Even between now and when we enter these contracts, our contracts enter on Mondays or Tuesdays, typically between 11 a.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Eastern. We like to miss the first 90 minutes of chaos. We like the market to kind of settle in a little bit. So we build in a buffer for you. Advanced settings, that's just showing you that the hedge is turned on. Okay, you can turn that off if you want to sell a naked put or naked call. I'm not gonna, because I like the protection and the leverage. So I'm gonna hit activate here. I agree. And now Unity Software, or whatever it is now added to my portfolio here. It's active and I have one contract hedged. So let's just take a look at the other stocks I have on here to see if I need to make any other changes. We got Palantir. So right now I like Palantir. It's paying me 0.77% in premium this week, $15 in estimated premium on about the $2,000 that I'd set aside for it. We're going to leave that one. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Carvana's definitely up here, as we already talked about, liking that. We got Roblox. Let's take a look at Roblox. Ben, I feel like we grew up in the wrong time. I like when we grew up, but boy, I would have loved playing Roblox because I sucked at all video games. I feel like I would have been pretty good at that. Roblox paying 0.68%. That's in my zone. I like it. We're keeping it. Sunrun, as I mentioned earlier, I got assigned last week, but I'm selling it. I sold those this morning. They will. And I'm going to be collecting 1.3% from them. And what's the only one left? Wayfair. Let's take a look at what Wayfair's doing. And that's up here in our zone as well. So that's paying me just about 1% in estimated premium for the $4,500 I'm setting aside, and going to be collecting $42 there. So that's what we're rocking with. And as you can see, this is going to cost just about $16,500. That's your estimated budget in bots. That is not your account balance. A lot of people get confused about that. Maybe we'll make that even more clear. We are getting a new layout. PeakBot's getting a facelift. We're going to have a totally new layout over the next few weeks, months maybe. We don't want to overpromise, underdeliver, but that dollar amount is just showing you how many dollars roughly are allocated in your current automated portfolio. So, Ben, did I miss anything there?
No, I think you're good. I think
Awesome.
we're good here.
So
we got about 25 minutes till the market opens. So if you are using PeakBot, get your positions set up. If you're not using PeakBot, start your 2-week free trial. Get those positions set up. You'll be trading as soon as about 90 minutes from now.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kill my screen here in just a second. But yeah, Ben, if there was anything else that we felt like we should mention, now would be the time. Otherwise, of course, join us again next week here for the Pulse, all things option selling, brought to you by PeakBot. We are here to make this available to the everyday person. You know, look, algorithmic trading is here to stay. We're not turning around on that by any means, right? And we just wanted to make this easy, affordable, and transparent for the everyday person. Look, if I can do it, anybody can do it. All right. So good luck, happy trading, and we'll see you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Yes. And again, we will see you at the Peak. Thanks so much for joining us, and tune in next week. Thank you.